You do not have credibility. You don't listen. And they keep telling you the same messages, still you don't listen. Listen to them. Listen to international law. Listen to what the UN stands for. Don't try to change things and to tailor a system which is a system completely in contradiction with what we all agree to. That will never happen. Wake up.
Why does the United States often appear to disregard international law? From military interventions to economic sanctions, America's actions on the global stage have sparked debate and criticism worldwide. Let's dive into the reason behind this behavior. Watch and pay attention, and I will share my thought later.
The United States fundamentally rejects the International Criminal Court's decision to issue arrest warrants for senior Israeli officials. We have been clear that the ICC does not have jurisdiction over this matter, and we are deeply concerned by the prosecutor's rush to seek arrest warrants, as well as troubling process errors that led to this decision. Moreover, this decision does not make the pursuit of peace any easier.
The representative of Algeria has asked for the floor to make a further statement. I give them the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I asked for the floor to respond to some allegations that I will not even stoop down as low to respond to. This was exploited by the representative who is speaking a language that is immoral. I will not even be responding to allegations by some that are not even humane.
A response to someone who's bloodthirsty and who kills women and children does not deserve to be made at this table. A response to a person who everyone here in headquarters and around the world is witnessing a genocide perpetrated against a population that is defenseless and that continues to hold fast to the hope of international intervention, and certainly does not deserve to have a voice here at the table. And they deserve to have a voice at this table and as an independent state in the United Nations. Thank you.
I thank the representative of Algeria for their statement. Colleagues, can I just remind that this is an official meeting of the Security Council and all participants are expected to observe appropriate standards of tone and conduct. The permanent observer of the Observer State of Palestine has asked for the floor to make a further statement. I give him the floor.
I'm terribly sorry, Madam President, for taking the floor again. But I think a representative of an occupying power that has his government and his army killed more than 44,000 Palestinian civilians and possibly 10,000 more under the rubbles, and injured more than 100,000 Palestinian civilians, most of them are women and children. Does he really has the credentials or the credibility to speak about the Palestinian people and his concerns about them? He represents a government, the head of it is a war criminal in which a warrant of arrest by a very important court, global court, the ICC, has issued that warrant of arrest for him. And the entire membership of the ICC, including all members of the European Union, all the states who are friends of the State of Israel, announced in the name of Mr. Borrell, their foreign minister, that all member states of the European Union, member of the ICC, and others said that they honor and respect the independence and the position of the ICC. And even today, the 15 members of the Security Council, the representative of the occupying authority, the representative of those who committing genocide, was not listening to any one of you, because all of them, they said to you, stop the crimes, stop the killing, stop the starvation, send assistance to the Palestinian people in Gaza, including in northern Gaza. Don't stop the humanitarians from conducting their business. You don't listen. You listen to the noise in your head, but you don't listen to the distinguished member of the Security Council, who are some of them advising you with a solidarity with you, and you don't even listen. It's either your way on the highway, and it is going to be the way of the international community, the Security Council, and you are going to be running on the highway. You do not have credibility. You don't listen. And they keep telling you the same messages, still you don't listen. Listen to them. Listen to international law. Listen to what the UN stands for. Don't try to change things and to tailor a system which is a system completely in contradiction with what we all agree to. That will never happen. Wake up. Listen to the international community. Listen to justice. Listen to fairness. Listen to the people who want their hostages to be released, not to be killed on a daily basis. Ceasefire. Ceasefire now. Hundreds of millions of people are saying that in all corners of the globe. Listen to them, including in Israel, including Jews in the United States of America and their youth in universities and colleges. They're telling you, ceasefire, ceasefire now. This is how the hostages will be released. You're not listening to anyone. You're listening to extremism, to fanaticism, to the extremists in your government, to the extremists in your society, and therefore you are perpetuating this war. And we will, all of us, led by international law, succeed in either making you listen and understand or forcing you to listen, as all people like you in the past were forced to listen to the will of the people in all corners of the globe and international law and the Security Council. Thank you, Madam President.
I thank the permanent observer of the Observer State of Palestine for his statement. I reiterate to all participating delegations the importance of maintaining decorum in the chamber. The representative of Israel has asked for the floor to make a further statement. I give them the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. In my speech, I use the facts. Mr. Mansour, you are an expert of blaming Israel. We don't have to come to your event tomorrow. For 77 years in this organization, you always said no, and you blame Israel for everything. What I'm trying to offer you is future, to discuss future for Palestinians in Gaza. But in order for that to happen, you have to say no, not to Israel, to say no to Hamas. Once you will have the courage and the ability to say no to Hamas, no to terrorism, you can speak about future for Gaza, you can speak about future of the Palestinians. That's what I'm saying. I'm not taking your position, but I'm telling you that if you want to move forward, you have to say no to Hamas and yes for cooperation. If you want to play the blame game, you became an expert on that. You will continue to do it tomorrow. But look what you did in the last 77 years since Israel was established, and you rejected the petition plan here at the UN. Look what you did personally in the last 20 years that you are sitting here, that you always said no and blamed Israel. Think about the future of the Palestinians. Thank you very much.
I thank the representative of Israel for their statement. The representative of the permanent observer of the Observer State of Palestine has asked for the floor to make a further statement. Can I reassure you we have listened closely to your views, and in the interest of time, I will give you the floor one final time to conclude your remarks. Thank you.
I thank you very much, and I apologize for taking the floor. I challenge the ambassador of Israel. I accept Security Council resolution. I accept General Assembly resolution. We recognize the state of Israel. You are not recognizing the state of Palestine. On these bases, on the basis of international law, on the basis of the Charter, I am willing and eager to chart a path, positive path for peace. You are the one who is refusing all these things. It's not us. Our president came to this Security Council and said many times, I am ready to negotiate the end of occupation. I am ready to negotiate peace and two-state solution living next to each other. It was always you and your government, the rejectionist, refusing to open doors for peace. You want from us to be negated. Your Knesset legislated that only Jews have the right to exercise self-determination between the river and to the sea. You completely ignored us, and you were trying to say that you are for peace and I am against peace. I accept the judgment and the position of all of my colleagues. When we go peacefully and legally and in a very sophisticated way to the General Assembly, asking them, do we deserve the right to self-determination? And when they give me between 170 to 180 votes, saying on the basis of the Charter, the Palestinian people do deserve to exercise their right to self-determination, including a two-state solution. Who is the one who is working for peace, and who is the one who shredded the Charter of the United Nations from the chamber of the General Assembly, and who is the one who said in the General Assembly, you are the immoral majority in the General Assembly? It was your representative. Then, my colleagues, I accept their judgment. If we go for a voting among our colleagues, our peers, who is working for peace and who is working for the killing of the Palestinian people as we see it in the Gaza Strip, I think the answer is obvious, but you will not accept the judgment of our colleagues. You want to impose on us your judgment, which is not accepted by anyone, and that's why you are isolated, and you're still insisting to change that reality by distorting the situation, trying to accuse a person who is working all of his life for peace and trying to say that you are working for peace and not the representative of the state of Palestine. That's why I'm telling you, wake up. Listen to those. Many of them are your friends in the General Assembly. Many of them are your friends. They are telling you what you're doing is wrong. Change your behavior, change your policies, so that we can have peace, so that we can end this illegal occupation and have a two-state solution. And I will not speak anymore, Madam President, now. Thank you for your patience, and all of my colleagues. Thank you.
I thank the permanent observer of the Observer State of Palestine for his statement.
International law is supposed to create a framework for peace and cooperation among nations. But critics argue that the United States, as a global superpower, frequently operates outside these rules. Why? Let's break it down. First, we need to understand the mindset of a superpower. The United States viewed itself as the leader of the free world, a role that often led it to prioritize its interests over global consensus. This belief in American exploitationism often justifies action that might violate international norms. To U.S. policymakers, international law is seen as a secondary to national security and strategic goals. Why? Because being subject to this law could limit US sovereignty or expose American leaders and military personnel to prosecution. Take the 2003 invasion of Iraq. Despite widespread international opposition and a lack of UN authorization, the US proceeded, citing the need to address security threats. Similarly, sanctions imposed on countries like Iran and Venezuela often bypass UN approval, raising questions about their legality. For example, as a permanent member of the UN Security Council, the US can veto resolutions that do not align with its interests, effectively bypassing accountability. From Guantanamo Bay to drone strikes, these actions often lead to accusations of hypocrisy, fueling anti-American sentiment worldwide. While this may not happen overnight, steps toward multilateralism and dialogue could help build global trust and strengthen the rule of law. What do you think? Is the United States justified in its action, or should it do more to respect international law? Let us know your thoughts in the comment box below. Until next time, cheers and have a good one.